Hello everyone! The Open Gate Quilt subscription box for August came last weekend, so we're ready to unbox our creativity. We've got a couple notions, our thread, but I'm gonna dive in and just get this small project out of here first. I like to warm up with the small project, get all the sewing juices going, and these go by super quick, usually within an hour it'll be done. So this is a panel tote bag. We get the panel and the tote, and we get the heat and bond fusible. So I went ahead and ironed my panel just a little more flat rather than having some of those wrinkles that were from the packaging. And then I fused on the heat and bond. For this product, it's 6 seconds, I think. So I smoothed it out and then just held on that iron until it was well fused to the panel. So once that's attached, we take it over and we get it all trimmed up. We have the instructions in our packet from Monique, and it gives us the exact dimensions that we need to make a nice, clean rectangle for our little panel. And so from this little panel, mine says everyone got a different one. It's part of a set. Mine says nosegay. I think that's how it's said, but that is a British term meaning a bouquet of flowers. So that makes sense. Like gay is happy, nose happy. I get it. I've now grown as a person now. I know a little bit more on top of having my sewing project. So I peeled off the paper from that heat and bond, so it's now glue side down, and I fused this panel to my tote bag. I used a blanket stitch just all the way around the perimeter. It's really stuck on there. I mean, it's fused onto the bag, but the blanket stitch just gives it a little bit of character and a nice polish. And that worked out really well. I put my camera in it and it was ready to go. And we went to downtown. They had a little like touch attractor event with my toddler. And I just carried my little camera in that. It was super fun. So now we go on to the large project called Pumpkin Toss. This is a table topper. And we get everything we need. Look at this polished little kit, all the fabrics folded together. Oh, I just love the detail. I love it. And this was easy cutting. You just cut out your big squares, you cut out your little squares, and your border pieces. So that was done in no time. But I cut a square on the selvage. You see how I have it? I should have lined it up a little better, and I didn't. So I had to recut. I was out of the little white square, so that's just a neutral batik fabric. And then I had some squares sewn together in the wrong orientation. That happens, so we'll just redo those. And then I ran out of bobbin thread, so I recovered from that, and then I was able to move forward with my little squares being attached. And I got all the way down to the end here, and I realized that I needed to do a little fix. I cut my border too short, so I had to insert another piece I decided to put in the middle to give it a little extension so that it would then be long enough. So I recovered from that little miscut. And since it's such a busy pattern, I mean, we're not going to notice that extra piece in the border. So then I was able to move on to my large squares. I'm just snowballing the corners for this. And I found another salvage piece that I cut into the stupid square. Like, totally my bad. I didn't line up my fabrics right. So I went to go recut it, and then I cut that piece short. I looked at the wrong line on the ruler, so I messed it up again. So I had to find another piece, but here I'm just taking a little intermission. Look at all my seams. I pressed all my seams in the right direction. That's not typical for me. I really went the extra mile for me, and I got that done. So then I was attaching the borders, and they were weirdly short, and I realized I forgot the inner border. I forgot the inner border, and then I attached those large borders, and honestly, some time passed. I was so frustrated. So I finally came back to it a few days later, seam ripped that large border out, and it's all chopped up, so I just found another dark piece of fabric, and I used that for the outer border. And I like how it turned out. It turned out even better. It was just a frustrating experience, so you can recover from this. I went with an all-over swirl design over the top, got my binding on, and that was all done.